All right, welcome everybody. It's June 22nd. This is our 20th time meeting weekly to discuss Mandel upgrade. Big milestone last week was the RC1 was released, and we decided we're going to have a go no-go call this week to decide if we're ready to activate. So that's the big headline, I think, for today. Also, just quick recap. We checked in on how the platform support D.U.N.E stuff is coming along. We're on track to get unit testing and debugging tools for smart contracts added to there shortly, so we can check in how that's going. Mentioned already Mandel software release. We talked about a timeline for testing on Jungle 4, and we talked about proposing an MSIG to reduce the number of BPs we need to get things through on Kylin, so we can speed up getting Kylin in good shape for testing. So why don't we start with testing, or maybe let's start with software actually, because I understand there was a call yesterday. I'm not sure if Ted or Yves wants to give an update. I heard from Mathew at a high level. Looks like there were some bugs discovered in the testing. I think the work's been prioritized in the call yesterday.
Right.
Yeah. So can you add a little color to that, Ted?
I don't know that I have much color in terms of like bug numbers, et cetera, but there were a couple of items that have been discovered. They've actually been patched. So there's a patch release out. So we're now running RC1 patch 1, and continuing to test and look through it, and as we find them, we'll issue new patches, and we'll continue to work forward. There were 2 items which Mathew's not on the call.
I've got the notes here.
Sorry.
I've got some notes here from him I can share. If so, yeah, planning for 3.1 RC2. So will contain changes for EVM and SHIP plus other stuff. SHIP was an issue that our team had discovered through testing. And from last I heard, there's no release date set. Probably going to be a week or two before we have RC2.
We're waiting for those 2 items, the SHIP update fix, which I think is already being reviewed. The pull request is done. And then the EVM changes, and I'm not sure the status of those. But when those 2 are done and tested and reviewed, that will then roll out RC2.
Okay, great. I'm just going to add those notes that Mathew gave me here. So everyone's got them. And then we go. Could probably remove this. Not relevant to most people. Okay. Anything to add on the software development side of things?
No, I think you captured it all. Unless
cool.
Bucky, you want to give any updates?
No, I think that's pretty much covered in the things from Mathew. The CDT will be released around the same time, same time as RC2, because we're adding the stuff there for the EVM. So we got to kind of hold that, because we don't want to just release one that's incorrect for that. So that's going there. And then the D.U.N.E stuff, the only thing there is just effectively documentation. So that'll be around the same time that we can take that off the board.
Beauty.
And the in terms of where things are at with the EVM stuff, it's in review, and I'm kind of hoping to get that. Everything should be passing. I haven't actually went back and looked at the test today, but it went back in and fixed all the unit tests and everything, hopefully.
Excellent. And I guess also on the software development side of things, I noticed we've got Brendan on the line. I know that there was some feedback you wanted to share, I think, about the, maybe I'll give it to you. There's a feature that's not going to be in 3.1 currently, but maybe you want to give a little bit of talk a little bit about that.
Don't have to take up too much time here. I've actually, I guess it's good sort of practice in testing the process of how we communicate through to you guys and pull in or future features and how the process works. But yeah, I've been chatting to Steven Diesel. He is gone now, but on his honeymoon, I believe. And yeah, so it'll come into a future release. Just basically sharing the use case and really sharing some detail. We got like a design document or a workshop document where we went through like design considerations and could share all of our thoughts and around the use case. So that'll be a process we'll work out with Steven, and then if everything makes sense and you guys want to adopt that and build the feature, then it'll, yeah. So basically it's just a process that is exciting to be part of.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. Anyone have anything to add on that? Beauty. All right, let's move on then, I guess, to the big event testing. Let's have a look. Check in on, so it looks like we've still, according to the validator, we've got Nation and Sphere updated. Is anyone else upgraded to Mandel who's not on here on Jungle?
No, I can't get it to build, but I break everything.
Okay. So we're obviously we don't have 15 out of 21. The other issue, so where Mathew's recommendation from his perspective is wait for RC2 before we do anything. In terms of upgrading to, okay. But I'm not sure what you guys, if anyone else has thoughts on, in terms of a go no go for activating the features this week on Jungle.
Well, we need more people running it, right?
Yeah, we're gonna need more people running it.
Yeah.
B, even if we did have more people running it, is the software, do we want to wait for RC2 before we do that? And if that's the case, it looks like we got a couple of weeks before RC2 will be out.
Yeah, we don't have any time date for RC2 because it depends on the testing, the bug finding, etc. And the issue with that is then you can't activate the new EVM features, which means there's no new EVM features to be tested for the next month or so.
Okay.
Which was one of the big functions within this. Whereas, for example, the API transaction lifecycle improvements, those are already on. So we're already testing it, but we're not testing the EVM features. And those are really the two outliers from within this particular release.
Okay. And yeah, the other factor will be history. So
we're not talking about all features, right? So was Mathew making that recommendation based on the other components, or only the EVM feature as the feature that we're turning on?
He's even as only that, yeah, because it activates the hard fork.
Right.
So there's going to be
yeah. The problem is I mean, I think the ship changes, and I haven't had a chance to test it on Hyperion, but if you change the ship and we can't read that format, it's going to domino effect, no history and all of that. And this protocol would force everybody to have to run that. So that's, I think, maybe the holdup until, I'm not sure exactly what the detailed changes are in the ship now, but if it breaks diffuse, I'm assuming
so until what are we waiting for then?
Whatever is different
in the next 3 weeks.
Well, what needs to happen? Does ship be able to fix? Is it a bug that gets fixed and can be then everything else?
How can we fix
works
it
with
if we don't know that it's a bug because it's not
we know that there's
on.
a bug.
Didn't he report it as a
the
bug?
current
That's
one,
what I'm saying.
One, yes.
Yeah. The current bugs that are going to get fixed in the RC2, basically.
Correct.
So yeah.
So
Matthew's recommendation is wait for RC2 with those bug fixes at a minimum.
If that's the case, I would say we should prioritize the RC2 so it doesn't come out in a month.
If it's just ship changes, if they're ship related and breaking that, then I would say yes. I don't, again, have the detail.
The only two things we're waiting for RC2 are the ship fix, which has already got a pull request submitted, and the EVM changes. the intrinsics or whatever. So those two things are highly prioritized, and as soon as they're in and tested, as long as there's no new major bugs found, we'll release RC2. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks.
Sorry, when you say, Ted, the second part, which is not the SHIP, you said the second part, EVM intrinsics, that's also something that's going to be going in RC2 that's not currently in RC1?
Yes.
Okay.
The SHIP fix that's going into RC2 is not a change to the SHIP protocol. It's just a change to the behavior during syncing. So,
And that's in patch 1 right now, Kevin, right? It's already in Jungle 4 right now.
it's in the release 3.1x branch, which Mathew has built himself and released on his node, but it's not in any official build or anything.
Mathew had said he made a patch 1 release, but I guess just for himself.
He patched his own build, yes.
You're muted there, Michael.
If it's syncing versus protocol related, then I'm going to keep trying to push forward on at least RC1 so I can test it with Hyperion. But like I said, I'm having a hell of a time getting it built on Ubuntu 18 and even 20. But that may find some issues. I don't know. I haven't talked to Igor too much. He's been in New York, I think.
Feel free to reach out with any build problems you have there. We'll try to help you out.
CMake and lib C++ versions. It's just that it reminds me of building EOSIO back in 2018, the good old days.
Yeah, I had a few little hurdles. Let me see what your error is, man. I got it to build cleanly.
It's really just the same prereq. You don't have this version because CMake 3.5 or whatever, right? I tried it on existing servers, but I can say this, at least in the current state, if I go to do this and build this on my current servers, it is going to not work.
All right.
Okay, so we got some work to do getting BPs upgraded for sure. And so, yeah, any help that we can get, or do you need help? You just need to keep hammering at it, Michael.
Well, and I was kind of waiting to see, I mean, about RC2, it's good to know it's not going to change any of what I'm really trying to focus on testing. Number one, BP, and number two, SHIP feeding Hyperion for history. So, yeah, I mean, I may shoot over some error messages because I'm by no means no Ubuntu god, but it's more the typical build versioning prereqs that it's just not finding its way through.
What version of Ubuntu are you building on?
I started with 1804, which is what I mostly have across the board. I just this morning went ahead and spun up a 2004 just to try to give it a whack, and it blew up with different errors, but similar CLang and CMake. Yeah, I think it didn't even have make or something, which okay.
Yeah, there's some dependencies that you've got to manually install before you get going. There's no script, right? You're building it without the script. You build it just by making it and running it.
Oh, I'm not running make it manually, but yeah, I mean, I'm trying to run the prereq script and then the
oh no, there's no. I don't run a script.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
I'm trying to do the way you would bang your head through it. I get it. Don't do it that way because it doesn't work. But that's, I mean, that's what I'm kind of figuring out. And
I'll send you what you need.
That's where I'm at, especially if I'm going to be hanging up some of the testing and some of the protocol. I'll go get the debs if I damn need to. But for the record, yeah, it did not like 1804 and
yeah, it doesn't.
2004.
Vanilla 2004 will work. I'll send you what you need.
Is there anyone on the call? Like I know Jeannie, for example, she's on the line from EOSIO, confirmed with me offline that EOSIO is upgraded. It's not showing up on our validator here for some reason. So I can check in with Mathew on why that might be. But can you confirm, Jeannie, that EOSIO is upgraded on Jungle 4? Maybe we can look into that. Maybe there's just a BP JSON issue here why you're not showing up.
Yes, our VP node is updated, but I will check API JSON file.
Okay. Anybody else on the line who's attempted to upgrade, had issues, or as far as you know, you are upgraded, or we're just not having you reflected here? Okay, so we'll push that in the jungle chat, get more people upgraded, get folks support if they need it, and yeah, keep pushing for that. Does anyone disagree with waiting for RC2 before we revisit the go no go, or is yeah, what are folks' thoughts on that?
As long as
And
there's priority put on getting RC2 out, I've got no issues with that.
Yeah. And what was Matthew's opinion on the severity of it? Did he say to wait on RC2? I think that's what you said, right?
His recommendation would be waiting for RC2 is available before activating any features on Jumbo 4. And yeah, Matthew's estimate is probably 2-week delay.
I'm about to say, if it's 1 to 2 weeks, I mean, maybe worth it. And like I say, maybe we'll find a few other small little things that may squeeze in there as well, and not have to fight through an RC3 as we really finalize testing. Anyway.
Yeah. In the meantime, Michael, you're also testing Hyperion, right? Do we have any good sense one way or the other whether Hyperion is working with Mandel?
Well, like I say, I don't really know 100% because I haven't gotten it fully built to be able to fully feed it yet. So that's why I'm trying to fight through it and get it going. So I don't think so. I'm going to try to reach out to Igor, but he's been bouncing between all these conferences here in the States. So,
okay.
But I will try to put some priority and just, at least if I can get a confirmation of what he thinks, right?
Right.
But no, I haven't had a chance to fully vet it yet because, like I say, for about the past week, I've been kind of slowly banging my head against.
We know that there's a lot of work on the diffuse side before diffuse will be working. So it's unlikely when we activate, if there's a go in 2 weeks, that diffuse will likely not be working on Jungle 4. So if to have block explorers working, we're going to need at least one working history solution.
Either gray mass in there, I forget what they call theirs now, but or Hyperion, or even Stan has a new history solution. I don't know if it would work for block explorers, but yeah, I mean, that's the bigger concern. But I'll also say that may not be deal breaking enough to hold up the beta testing on the EVM intrinsics and whatnot, in my opinion. You know, go look it up by block. Don't look it up by account. Deal with it.
So Yves, can you add a little bit of context there? So the EVM team basically is blocked on doing any EVM testing until we activate these features. Is that right?
They're blocked on doing the new performance testing that they'll be able to do under the new features, yes, but they can still, like EVM is still running right now, so they can still do what they're currently doing. Sure.
Okay.
So a 2-week delay, again, the priority is more so keeping the momentum on so that this doesn't drop and RC2 doesn't come out in a month. That would be my my preference, but otherwise that's, you know, it's not a showstopper necessarily. Then we would need to think what happens in 2 weeks if RC2 comes out and then there's another bug that's highlighted at some point. That's kind of the whole purpose of turning out these features, is to figuring out whether or not they work. So we still don't know if when we turn that on, that will also have bugs, and whether or not we need an RC3 and an RC4, et cetera. So it's, at some point, it's inevitable that we're going to be turning it on anyways.
Okay.
I think we're still ahead of time from the original timeline, so we still got plenty of time. Let's just keep having these calls and keep the momentum going. And the pace that we're having it right now, I think, is the pace that we want to set ongoing. So not just for Mandel release, but for the next release. And basically these calls continue on from now on.
Right.
Ultimately, the bare minimum is the 15 of 21 BPs. I mean, hopefully 17, 18 at least. But once that's at least achieved and confirmed, I would say, unless somebody absolutely has a deal breaker, I mean, push forward on getting that EVM activation because at least we won't break the chain and then all the other services can scramble to fix it. We do that all the time.
Right. Raises the the urgency of getting the histories working if all the histories solutions stop working on.
And it's jungle. I mean, yeah, well, guess what? It
The
broke.
purpose. Well, that's why also it'd be good to have Kylin. I saw that the Kylin proposal was up for Nation and USA to be able to make changes, or I guess have God mode if they both join efforts. So having more than one is useful in this case as well. Like we talked about last week, I don't recall who, I think it was Steven that was asking kind of the difference between the two. And that's where we have one that's more stable and one that can be more extreme.
Right.
And we can isolate issues better that way as well.
Yep. So I'm going to put some notes here. So it's going to be a no-go for June 22. It's today. Need more BPs to upgrade. And we had said here 15, ideally more. Mathew's recommendation was actually all 21. I'm not sure if there's any thoughts there.
I mean, I'd say all 21, but you could probably get Crypto Alliance to fill in all the gaps if you really wanted to. But all
right.
I mean, the more the merrier, but you need at least 15, otherwise you will break the chain and we'll have to wait on everybody to get upgraded.
15 is the absolute minimum, but then you get some stability issues in that case. We'll be more stable with 21. Okay.
And one fun fact, I'm actually on vacation next week, so I'll try to get all my updates in via proxy and relay to you, and I'll be on Telegram, but you won't see my smiling face.
All right. All right. I'll be dialing in from a cottage next week too, so it'll be
I might grace y'all with the presence of a beachside view and it not be a virtual background. Who knows?
There you go. Okay, so we need more BPs to upgrade. I'll be pushing that in the jungle channel this week, and we'll need to. 1 to 2 weeks.
Hey, Bucky, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll also need everyone to be on RC2 before any activation of the protocol features, because RC2 will be consensus incompatible with RC1 in terms of it's one of the protocol features.
Right. So maybe the push isn't to get the BPs on RC1, it's to wait for 2 weeks and then push.
Sounds like that's the case, right? So hold off on pushing people to upgrade until RC2 is out.
Well,
I mean, they can if they want to.
It's a good exercise to get yourself upgraded, and then when RC2 comes out,
I would assume there's not going to be that much change in the logs and the process and all that between 1 and 2. So you can do it and switch to binaries when you're ready.
So this opportunity for folks like you, Michael, to sort out whatever the issues you have.
Keep breaking it, yes.
And then when it's live, when we got RC2 ready, you're off to the races, hit the ground running.
Yeah, and there's a thing there for the 2 weeks that keeps getting brought up for the RC2. I think when Mathew Darwin was speaking on that, we had another couple of features that we wanted, or bug things that we wanted to try to get into RC2. That if we don't get them in the next couple of days, I would say that it's not going to go into RC2. But as of right now, I don't see us holding that off until after Friday. I mean, to me, I think we would have RC2 out by probably Friday. So I don't think that's going to take 2 weeks. I think when Mathew Darwin was talking about that, I think it's because he saw this other work that hadn't started yet get kind of lumped into the RC2.
Got it.
Ring.
Okay. So it's there's a good shot we'll be able to have another no-go possibly a week from today, assuming we get VPs upgraded. So let's aim for that. We'll check in again in a week, see how how the upgrade's going on Jungle, whether RCU2 is out and ready to go, and then we'll see. Anything to add on that topic? All right. In the meantime, yeah, Yves mentioned, yeah, we proposed an MSIG on Kylin to get basically to get God mode for EOS USA and EOS Nation, essentially. So that's been proposed. We dropped the MSIG in the Kylin channel. If you're on Kylin, would ask that you go ahead and have a look and sign that MSIG if you agree. And then we can start at the same time getting Kylin in a state where we have a backup for Jungle and a stable environment for testing. Currently, I think so far it's just been, we've got EOS Nation's got 3 BPs on Kylin that have all signed. So we got 3 out of the 15 that we need so far. So that's what I'll be following up offline with folks in Kylin.
I have a few that I can add to that as well, but obviously it's not going to put it at 15.
Yeah, the more yeah, everyone helps. So yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, if there's anyone else on this call who's got a BP running on Kylin in the top 21, would appreciate that. I think the MSIG is pinned in the Crypto Kylin Telegram chat. What else? Are there any other topics we wanted to discuss? Just like this while I'm here. Here's the MSIG. Yeah, so we've got Aloha, Argentina, EOSIO, Canon, SG, Mau, Rio. So anyways, we can check offline with these folks. EOS USA, there you are. And again, that'll be another thing we can check in on how we're doing next week on progress there. Those were the topics I had for this week. Anyone else have anything to discuss? All right, well, have a great day. We'll see you all in a week. Thanks, everybody.
Cool. Cheers, guys.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.